You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Game of Thrones After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Game of Thrones After Show.
Hey guys, what is happening? The season finale is here of Game of Thrones, and man, was it exciting!
It was awesome.
So awesome.
But before we start, you may notice a face next to me that may be familiar to you. May recognize him from The Killing, or once he starts talking, you may recognize his voice from Infamous 2, amongst other games. We have Eric Ladin with us here tonight. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm just, it's great to be here, and having watched the finale of Game of Thrones with you guys, anytime I get to sit next to a guy with a sword, I'm happy.
That's how we do here, so
Yeah.
you know. But it's a little broken, but that's okay. I can still use it. Watch out.
It's the effect.
So
Gotcha.
I'm wondering, you just started watching with the season 1 DVD, correct?
I did.
How quickly did you get through that?
24 hours.
24 hours. So guys, you know, true fan here with us. And joining us, as always, the lovely Kristen Snyder,
What's up, guys?
Simone Boyce,
Hi.
and I am Dave Klein. And in the booth today, we have Ronnie Jr.
I am joined by Marissa. I'm joined by Christina, the amazing PR individual. Yeah, we're equally as excited, and we're not Game of Throners, you know. So tell us what happened, you know.
This is a full house booth. But let's get right to the episode because there was so much. We had every single storyline. It almost feels like we had more storylines as people are starting to branch out. So let's jump in. The first scene of the episode, Tyrion. He's back, he's awake, he is alive. What do you guys think of this opening scene?
I should probably just mention that I am in costume. This isn't
I am too.
this isn't what I usually wear, so I'm dressed as a Dothraki tonight.
I'm
No,
like
but-
Sansa or someone special from the castle.
First scene.
A man is Jaqen, Hagar.
And who are you tonight, Eric?
I didn't get the costume memo,
Oh.
and my people will hear about that because I would have come as Khaleesi.
Oh!
Or Brienne. That would have been a toss-up.
Oh,
I was
okay.
thinking maybe Brienne.
All right. I mean, you are both blonde.
Yeah.
And you're probably incredibly tall when you stand up.
Incredibly
People can't tell,
tall.
but incredibly
No,
tall.
Yeah, I'm actually sitting on the floor right now.
Wow.
I had no idea. So I should mention something that Simone also noticed with Tyrion, which is in the books, 3/4 of his nose is chopped off. And this is something we should mention because it seems like it's kind of a big deal. And I think this is probably for costume purposes, a reason that they decided not to take 3/4 of his nose off. But you were a little upset about it.
I was a little miffed because I think that, I mean, Tyrion is a character that everyone can identify with and really empathize with. So this was something in the books when part of his nose is just lopped off. It's something that gets us even more, it makes us feel for him even more at this point because it's just like, how many more blows can this guy take, literally? So, I mean, I think also, like you, I think this was probably just to cut corners as far as makeup and all that stuff goes. But I literally pictured him looking like a zombie almost, like with his nose off and like his bones showing.
He belonged with the White Walkers, is what you're saying.
I
at the
would
end.
have liked to see more of that. I really feel like now the biggest part of this was he's no longer Hand of the King, and a lot of people were betrayed this episode, just like Tyrion. I feel like he was betrayed because, like they said in the episode, they wouldn't still be there. They would have been defeated if it wasn't for him. Stannis' people betrayed him, left him. Tyrion's people left him, and also Theon. So I just feel like betrayal was a huge part of this episode. But I'm kind of sad that he either didn't look extremely gruesome or that he didn't die, because he's no longer a Hand of the King, and I was expecting a big death this finale.
Just so you know, Eric, Kristen loves death and people dying.
I
She's
hear
very
you.
morbid.
She loves blood and gore, and
If you're not going to kill him off, why are they there?
I'm with you, and I think that's one of the things that this show actually does really well is the fact that they don't, you never watch this show and say, well, they won't die because they're a lead or they're a regular. They're not scared to kill someone off. So now you've gotten to the point where you kind of watch nervously, feeling who's gonna die.
totally. And at this point last season, we had just lost Ned Stark,
Exactly.
which was like
Huge.
unexpected.
Right.
Which, in my opinion, season 1 deaths were more exciting than season 2, because I feel like the characters that died season 1 were more important to season 1 than in season 2. I would have liked a character who we followed around more in season 2 to die.
But I like Tyrion a lot. I was so sad when Ned died, I guess, that I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, all right, I'm glad Tyrion's still here. Because, like, in the books, too, I was like, oh, crap, is he still alive? What happened? So
Right.
I'm glad he survived for the sake. He's a character I like a lot. And if we lost Tyrion, we're kind of losing characters that I'm rooting for.
Yeah.
So I guess, like,
Understand
I
that.
agree.
That's true.
Just somebody else who was bigger. I thought we could have lost.
Did you guys feel like, because, okay, when the bandage was revealed, it honestly is like, it's a scratch. It's a pretty big scratch, but it's a scratch on his face. So did you feel like that was enough to like knock him out and make us think that he was dead?
You want him like mangled. I mean, you're like, this is,
Well,
you're pissed.
It's just, I had different expectations,
Right,
but
I hear you.
did you guys believe that? Like that he could have been dead just from that scratch?
You know what I'll say?
I'm curious.
The Woody
He's a
Man.
dwarf.
Yeah,
He's a
Little
half-man.
person.
Sorry.
Which is why we could all relate to him.
I'll say that the Woody
feel
Man
that
on the
way
chat,
sometimes.
I'm gonna throw out there, says that he thinks he looks horrible, so
Okay.
he seems to approve of it.
All right.
But you know what? I think he looks pretty banged up there
Yeah.
myself, because
Okay.
it is his entire face now. He has a giant cut through the entire thing.
Yeah.
I can't say I know what it feels like to be cut by a sword, despite the fact that I wield one, because I'm that
Do it. Just do it.
proficient with the sword that no one's cut me with it yet, because I always fend them off. So I don't know what a cut that deep on the face would feel like. So probably would make you pass out, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially when you're betrayed.
And especially when Tyrion hasn't been in battle very much. So, I mean, I think he was only in battle one time last season. So this is probably pretty jarring for him to be on the front lines.
I think he should be done with battle.
Yeah.
He's like 0 for 2. It's
Yeah.
not going well.
He's better up here than he is
Which is
down on the ground.
Which is what he says to Shay. And that
Exactly.
was kind
Right.
of a great moment with Shay where he kind of tells her, this is what I'm good at. I'm actually happy doing these things. And he's found something other than drinking and whoring that he really likes, that makes him feel big, like more than a half man.
Well, and he actually mentions that, I think it's earlier in this season when he talks about, he doesn't win with the sword, he wins with his mind.
Right, yeah.
Reading books has always been his weaponry.
Yeah, I think that was.
I mean, he knows that.
I think that was talking with Varys a few episodes ago when they were doing the War Council.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is he going to do now, though? I mean, Shay wants him to take off and leave with her. He says no way, so they're just going to stay there. But what is his duty going to be? It doesn't look like... I mean, Tywin's now the Hand of the King.
Well, he's smart. I think he'll figure out some way, something to do, because that's where he's good, is using his brain. So I'm sure he'll figure something out. Something I do want to say before we move on is I did like that the first thing he called for was Podrick. I like that they've been including that and using Podrick, because Podrick did save his life in the last episode, and they've been slowly incorporating him in, and I like that. But let's move on to Tywin. His horse dropping a dump right in the king's
Fantastic.
in the Iron Throne, which was great, because that was also something that happened in the book that I was like, oh, I'm glad they kept that. Because
I thought you were joking.
no, that was
yeah,
part
I
of the
did
book.
too. I forgot about that part.
That's
Right when
not the
Tywin's,
action I was looking for, too.
I was like, yes, poop, all right, I'm excited.
Now we
Always.
know why you watch the show.
I watch it for poop being thrown at Joffrey. I watch it for poop coming out of horses. That's why I watch the
I
show.
want to know, if that's not real poop, what is that?
It's chocolate.
Is it chocolate?
Yeah.
Chocolate?
Chocolate mousse.
I was going to
Yeah.
say like some dirt with like mud type. I don't know.
Maybe wishful thinking. It's probably not chocolate.
Now I like it a little bit more.
But
All
I
right,
love
let's
it.
move-
It showed such like he comes in on his horse. I mean, it's so, and he lets his horse,
Yeah.
just crap right there on the king. I mean, I love it. It's so irreverent and just
Yes.
like, even though, he's the hand of the king, it really shows, he's, not going to probably take much from him.
I guess like the way
Totally.
that I interpreted, at least from the reading, was just that I guess I just took it as horses. Even something as minor as a horse, they aren't part of this world, and a horse is just going to take a dump wherever it's going to take a dump, even if it's in the presence of the king. So I was just sort of taking it more as that when I read it.
I took it more of him just not really caring. He didn't put his pin on when he gave it to him.
Oh, that's true.
And then he
I
just
didn't notice
basically
that.
said, thank
Nice.
you. He held his pin and turned around and left. It's not like he put it on and, there wasn't any sort of action. I mean,
Yeah.
I really felt like he just kind of, okay, we'll see.
Yeah. Totally an interesting visual, like just seeing him like when everyone else is on the ground, it's almost like he thinks
raised
he's
up.
he's above that. And when Littlefinger comes up to accept his, reward from the king, he's on the ground, he's not on a horse. So I think that, like you said, is Tywin's sort of irreverence, just
Totally.
just wanting to be one notch above everyone else.
So what we should also mention then is that they had this whole conversation with Marjorie of, can Joffrey get married to Marjorie? Oh, what do you know? Well, there's kind of this loophole here where this arrangement was made before we knew that Ned was a traitor. So it's okay. You don't have to marry Sansa anymore. Hooray. You can marry Marjorie. So that's a pretty huge moment. And I like that Littlefinger kind of walks in and explains to Sansa, just so you know, this really isn't as good as you thought it was.
Right.
She was kind of celebrating for a moment.
Yeah. You see her walk off and she's like smiling, and then
moment
Littlefinger's like,
I thought she might have been upset for when they first showed her, and then you sort of got how she was really feeling, and that sort of just shows how much she's been hiding her true feelings throughout this whole season.
I actually wondered for a moment, though, if, and forgive me, I can't remember his name, when he came up, when the Meister comes in and actually...
Grand Maester Luwin or Pycelle?
Yeah, when he came up and actually explained the loophole, if he actually wasn't trying to do her a favor. Do you
good
know,
point.
because he knows, and really and truly, Joffrey's mom, she knows. They know that she's not in love and how
Right.
much. I think there actually is a part of her that sees herself and her husband inside of her. When she sees her and doesn't necessarily. There's probably just a small part of her heart that knows, well, I don't want her to go through that. I don't know. As evil as she is, I think there might be just a little bit of...
But what's Marjorie's motivation for wanting to be
That is
queen?
going to be a nasty pair.
Marjorie just wants to be
Yeah.
queen,
Yeah.
straight up. She
Yeah.
said it. She's like, I want to be queen. I want to be Cersei. So,
I mean, we do get that. Marjorie just wanted to be queen for the whole marriage with Renly, because Renly was pretty straight up gay, and she knew that she wasn't going to get anything
Yeah.
from Renly.
Yeah.
Right.
And she's like, that's all right. You can do whatever you want with Loras, my brother. I don't care. As long as you put a baby in here, it's all good.
Which
Yeah.
I thought was very awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a good wife.
Oh, the best of wives.
yeah, she was very understanding. And honestly, I think Natalie Dormer, who plays Marjorie Tyrrell, is one of the standouts of the season. Like, she just did an amazing job playing such a patient yet wise young to be queen. Like, she was just amazing to watch this whole season.
But I'm gonna say that I liked how Sansa did her reaction too. I liked that, and I was actually kind of wondering for a bit, because in the book, she's excited, but she's trying to hide it. So it was good. I was kind of like, is she trying to hide it or not? I can't tell, because she looks like she's genuinely disappointed she doesn't
Right.
get to be queen. So that was good.
I think
that-
there's also that thought probably in her mind that, well, if I'm not his queen, maybe he's just going to kill me. So, I mean, because that's what I would be thinking. Like, well, if he has no use for me, then maybe they're just going to get rid of me. But at the same time, I guess she is sort of like the last remaining Stark bargaining token that the Lannisters have.
So Baelish actually proposes to her that he would take her home to the north, and she says that her home's in King's Landing. So do you think she just doesn't trust Peter Baelish, or
I don't
why
think
would
she
not
trusts
go?
anybody. And you know what? I don't think we got any conclusion with the Hound either, other than just that scene
know.
didn't happen. They never had. Clearly, she's here and the Hound just left. And I don't know why they changed that scene from the books anyways, because in the books, the Hound never asks her to leave with him. He just wants a song. But everybody's basically asking to take her home and take her to leave, except for who it is in the book. So I'm not going to mention in case they do finally
Right.
bring that guy through, which I don't know why they keep doing that. But it's like, I'm just looking at her in the show sense of, why are you not leaving with these people who keep
Right.
giving you opportunities? It makes her seem really dumb.
Right.
But maybe she's smart because she just doesn't trust them, which I think that's what it really is.
Or she feels like if she stays there, her Rob is going to come and,
Yeah.
Maybe she's waiting for her prince.
I guess I don't know how much she actually knows though about what's going on with the war.
Yeah, she might actually not.
So I don't know.
I don't think Sansa is the brightest.
No.
Flower.
Yeah.
Let's go, dove, the brightest dove.
Yeah, the brightest dove in King's Landing because she doesn't have the wit or the strength that her sister Arya has. So I don't even know sometimes like what is going through her head. Like especially like you said, like with the Hound when he basically offers her a way out. And like the Hound is he's a warrior, so you know that he's gonna protect her. And that would probably be my choice if I had to run away with someone.
But she fears him because he's a killer.
I would say so too. Before we move on, one quick thing I want to mention is Varys with Roz, and that Varys is kind of pointing out a Littlefinger looks at you and sees a series of profitable holes, which was a great quote there.
It's a great line.
Perhaps the homily of the episode.
Thank you, Dan and David. That was great.
But basically, Varys is trying to use Roz. So Roz, her character, not from the books, gains some more action despite that replacement earlier in the season.
I'm not sure exactly what Varys' plans are for her, though.
I think she's going to try and use her as a spy in a sense to see what Littlefinger's doing. That would be my guess. So let's move on then to Stannis Baratheon, the loser of this big battle from last week. Big time loser.
What I want to know is how did he get out of there alive?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like last episode, everyone was like tugging him, bringing him in, and it looked like he was going to be presented to Joffrey. So how is he just back with the witch?
Apparently the witch did something.
I mean, wasn't he also yelling at his men as he was on the battlements, like, stay, what are you guys doing, stay?
Maybe it was the smoke baby.
Yeah.
That came through.
Came on a chariot and just escorted
Maybe it
him
was
out.
the smoke baby the whole time fighting, and he had a double.
Yeah.
There you go.
You never know. It's the magic of Game of Thrones.
So he's pissed off in this scene of Melisandre because basically he says that she promised him victory. She saw it in the flames, and he strangles her and says, "Where is your god now?" Which was a pretty strong scene. I hate Melisandre, so I like seeing her get choked.
What do you guys think as far as like the validity of the Red God now that Melisandre's prophecy didn't really come true? Do you guys believe that the Red God is still powerful?
Well, I'm confused because Jaqen actually talks about the Red God, and it seems definitely valid whenever Jaqen's around. So Melisandre, and I mean the Shadow Baby, can't.
Well, and he sees something in the
Yeah,
fire.
right,
And
in
at
the
the end of the
flames.
scene, I mean, it could just be like, an in and out or something burger. I mean, but I mean, who knows? He sees something clearly.
Yeah.
So there's something to the magic, but I don't know. I don't really. She's not my favorite. So I was kind of hoping he was just going to finish her off.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have seen that. I guess my guess would be that maybe he saw himself on the throne with a crown, which I've only read the second book, so this is pure speculation here, but maybe that means that he'll get on the throne and then get killed immediately, because I can't imagine him holding it. But that's kind of what I took it to be, is probably he saw himself with a throne. Or maybe her magic isn't the best, other than making shadow babies. All she can do is make shadow babies.
Yeah.
Or maybe her magic was showing him something that isn't really going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure.
Maybe they're both really bad at reading flames.
They're not the best flame readers in the world.
Something I liked that he did is he actually confronted his actions, though. He was like, I murdered my brother. And that's something that Theon also did this episode, is kind of reflected on their actions. So it was nice to see that internal logic going on screen.
Yeah, a lot of honest sort of, internal reflections this episode, even from Tyrion, too.
You know what I liked that Stannis said was we get this out of him, that he actually was depressed about killing Renly. We finally get that out of him, that he wasn't happy about it, that, oh my God, I can't believe I had to kill my brother and I haven't gotten anything from it. What have I done? That moment. And I like that moment from him.
I mean, that was the first time he actually even considered it or thought about it, gave it any thought at all. And I like that line where he said to Melisandre, he said, you promise these things that you don't know and none of us know. I feel like that happens every day, and that's sort of what I really thought the homily of the show was.
It's probably that whole idea of a fortune teller, someone who believes a fortune teller because they're right once, even though they're wrong every single other time.
But all they need to be is right one time.
Right, as long as you're right one time. But speaking of magic, let's move on to Pyat Pri and Daenerys, a.k.a. Khaleesi, and the House of the Undying.
Yes.
Finally,
Round of applause
they've
for
been
that.
teasing
That was
this for
amazing.
like 5 5 episodes, I feel like.
What I want to say is I feel like the finale, we got the most action from the storylines that we didn't see all season. The finale was those storylines finally coming through and paying off.
Totally.
Yeah, I agree. It did seem that way because the whole most of it was for last episode 9. But I guess it sort of worked in a sense because this was an exciting finale because of that, and so we almost had a double finale when you think about it.
The book version of Jon Snow and Daenerys' storyline was very like boring and like not too much happened, and a lot of like fans were kind of speculating as to what they would do to sort of spruce up their stories. And I think that they really did an amazing job, like just transforming what really happened to those two characters.
Well, I'd say specifically Daenerys's.
Yeah, absolutely.
They transformed because the whole 13 assassination was cool. Although I did actually like the House of the Undying a little more in the books because there were a lot of these rooms that had the creepiest crap in it ever in the books, like antler horns and things that you'd seen in Nine Inch Nails music video would fit perfectly into the House of the Undying. And we didn't really get any of that, so I guess you can't. I don't know. It's HBO. They can show that stuff.
But again, that's true. But it comes down to they don't spend enough time on that storyline.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I think that storyline deserves more time.
Yeah.
So that they cut it. You know, and we only get a couple of the rooms. And I think it deserves more. I mean, I think it's the strongest storyline.
Yeah.
So.
What did you think of the whole Winter Iron Throne scene before she goes to the wall?
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like that. It was, it's interesting. At first, I mean, being the first room she walks into, you're not sure what's going on. And then as you start to see that they've placed all these, enticements in front of her.
Desires.
And all these desires was neat. I liked it. I liked the way they did it.
Although I'm wondering, because they had the Iron Throne there, which is her major desire. Her other one's Khal Drogo. But she sort of had to walk through the outskirts of the wall to get there. At least that's what it looked like to me. So I don't know how that would fit in, but I agree with you. Those were definitely her strong desires. I'm just wondering why the wall was part of that, other than maybe to show this bleakness. But I'm just sort of wondering.
Maybe she desires snow.
Let's come back to that.
She desires Jon Snow.
Think about
Seriously, I've talked about this with Dave before, and in the end, I would really be happy if Jon Snow and Daenerys got together on the throne.
All right, I like that. Be a good pair.
That's her favorite thing to talk about ever.
I was excited to
Jon
see
Snow and Daenerys.
Jason Momoa come back for a cameo.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome. There was some speculation or rumors swirling around the internet earlier this season whether or not he would come back and make a cameo, so that was kind of cool to see.
Was there also speculation on the fact that a 2-month-old baby could have a full long head of hair?
Yeah. Obviously, that baby had never lost a battle like his father because never got a haircut.
I'm going to go ahead and say I think that might be a wig. Everybody else wear wigs in the show, baby wigs. I don't see why not.
That was a hell of a lot of hair on a baby.
I just say that
sure.
apparently Khal Drogo and Daenerys, handsome baby. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to say. They make
Cute
some good
kid.
babies.
I like it.
So then we get that after this, the Pyatt pre-scene with the dragons. We finally get to see some action with the dragons shooting fireballs.
Chikaros.
Yeah, I love that. I loved how it was kind of an homage to the finale of last season where Daenerys, again, can't be beaten by fire. So it's a really awesome visual to be left with for this season. And yeah, I loved the Dracarys moment. That was awesome.
They just break out of the chains.
Yeah.
Attack.
It was perfect.
I need a dragon.
Yeah.
I need a little dragon.
And a direwolf.
Yeah, and a direwolf.
You know, that's a
what
funny
I've gotten
thing
from this show.
is Daenerys and Jon Snow, they're both isolated stories, not really involved in Westeros yet. So I'm really excited for them to come together, and I'm not sure if that's going to happen in Book 3 or next season, but I want to know, when is winter coming?
I know, they've been talking about it for a long freaking time.
You know what? We've actually got, I'm going to go ahead and say this fan thing early because that relates to what one of our fans said. Sunday on Twitter asked us, what's the Stark's motto when it is winter?
Summer.
Winter is here.
Summer is coming.
Winter is going to get worse.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
We told you.
It's going to be a long winter.
Winter is still coming.
Yeah.
Right.
It will continue. So I thought that was pretty funny. I think they were actually wondering if there was a real answer. I don't think there is. I just thought that was funny.
I don't know that there is, to be honest, but We can still speculate. It's
Yes.
Can we talk about duck sauce a little bit?
Yes, let's talk about duck sauce. So, duck sauce, I loved seeing what was in his vault. That was awesome.
That
Yeah,
was amazing.
a great
and
moment.
she's like, "Thank you. You taught me a very valid lesson." And that's
Awesome.
kind of like the LA lesson, in my opinion.
That's true.
That whole
totally
room
is.
of fake jewels and everything, that is the LA lesson right there. You
Yeah.
get there and you think it's all real, but it's really all a lie.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, I love that.
Yeah. Awesome comparison.
And what a great way to
Eric
die.
was talking to Kristen earlier before we started about her move out to LA. Is this making you wonder what her move has been like?
Yeah, really. How many false promises she's gotten.
Let's say I have a dragon in my clothes.
Yeah, seriously. I love the way that that she put duck sauce down.
Yeah.
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 I thought that was great too. Just lock
Just
them in the
toss them
vault.
in, lock them up, and you just wonder, like who's gonna eat who.
Yes, I was
You
just
know?
gonna say.
Thinking about this is gonna be
Amazing.
great.
Who's gonna break in
Yeah.
first?
This is a
Like,
very zombie episode.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna imagine that the vault is Miami, Florida, and that's why there's going to be face eating going on.
God. I'm from Miami.
Hilarious.
That's
I like
so
it.
embarrassing. As someone from Miami, I'm appalled. I can't even.
Is it wrong that whole zombie thing that happened in Miami kind of excited me? Like, a little part of me
Yes,
kind of
it
wants
is wrong.
a little part of me kind of wants like a UFO to just come land in my backyard. I would be so stoked about life.
That is
It,
yes.
it would be exciting in a way. As long as I still live and move on, I'm okay with it. I
You
think.
watch too much Walking Dead. I think,
I
Kristen.
live Walking Dead.
All right, guys, before we move on to the next storyline, I do need to say that, guys, we release this content totally for free. So any way you can help support us, we'd appreciate that, whether that be going to iTunes or the YouTube version of the show and commenting and rating us. We love reading the comments. We'll respond. Go to the live chat. As we've been talking to you guys on the live chat right now, AfterBuzzTV.com. You can chat with us, hang with us, or you can click on the Amazon link on the top right. If you click on it, it will take you to Amazon. You can buy whatever you were going to buy in the first place for the exact same price you were going to buy it anyways. No added costs. Just clicking on that link will help you buy Dragon Fact books, Globies, Zaro Duck Sauce brand duck sauce,
Which we can
whatever
really
you
make
need.
now because he's dead.
This amazing sword.
Yeah.
And look how sharp it is. Look at the detail and fine. Oh, wow, that hurt. That was a little sharp. So you can get that all from Amazon by clicking on our link. So let's move
Boom.
on.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. Let's move on then to Well, before we go to Winterfell, actually, let's talk about the Starks, specifically Robb Stark and Catelyn having a little argument there.
It's dangerous to cross Walter Frey, but it looks like we just crossed him.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
they
was
don't
really
care.
kind of surprised about the wedding. How did you guys feel about it?
I just want to know how many Game of Thrones fans are going to have that wedding, like in the next 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
Like how many Game of Thrones?
Warrior.
Yes.
Mother.
I mean, you know it's happening.
Soldier. Yeah.
Like, you
I'm gonna
know,
go do it.
You know that people like watching tonight were like, we're doing that.
I'm ready to do it right now. Any
Yeah.
takers?
Yeah, we're doing
Just
this.
kidding.
I think I've seen a
That's
few
good.
on the YouTube and
Really?
Twitter. Yeah.
Move on.
Yes.
We're getting
You know you
pictures
want
sent in
that.
right now.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I need
Here we
some
go,
choices.
takers?
Yeah.
You know you want that.
I do kind of want that. Zombies, UFOs, marriage. Let's do it.
Proposals.
I mean, I think that wedding just shows how young and brash and sort of reckless Robb Stark is. He's trying so hard to be a king. I think we see a lot of people in this show who are pretending and trying really hard to be someone that they're not. But obviously, at this point, he's not wise enough to heed the advice of his mother as far as adhering to his agreement with Walder Frey. So I just think that he's a young king making young, sort of reckless decisions, like his mother said.
Disagree.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, only because I think that I don't know. I feel like his mother went in and made the proposal. Yes, he said okay. He's through the bridge. I mean, he doesn't know where he's going to be in 6 hours, much less 6 months. I feel like it's a decision that he's like, I can deal with the consequences later. And if I am king, in which, is where I want to be, then that's something that I will be able to, clean up, once I am king.
Why
Yeah.
can't he just have a Joffrey version loophole? Well, this arrangement
Yeah,
was
right.
made before Ned
Yeah.
got killed, so now it's not valid anymore, right?
And he's already
Yeah, of
crossed
course.
the bridge. What are they going to do?
Something I want to say is I really blame this whole marriage on Catelyn. I mean, Talisa easily becomes his #1 woman who has not betrayed him.
Right.
Of course he's going to run to her. And she's also helping him figure out who he is as a person. And Catelyn is the one who went behind his back and could cost him the war. And it's like sort of the situation when the child is forced to become the parent. I mean, Robb had to take on like the logical role of making a responsible decision.
Right.
So real quick, Kurt to take her, Kristen, just
Oh,
so you
nice.
know.
Kurt Potts, send us a picture.
Yeah, I think I need a picture.
I
We need
think
pictures.
I think Robb and Catelyn's discussion was also good, where Catelyn's trying to make a point of her and Ned's marriage, where she didn't know Ned beforehand, but look how well it worked. And Robb's like, well, that doesn't mean it's going to work for me, just because it worked for you, which is a great point. But Catelyn just doesn't see it that way because she believes so much in duty and do your duty, do your honor. And so...
But treat your oath recklessly, and the people will do the same.
Yeah, and let's be honest. I mean, she's not like hard on the eyes. I mean, these daughters were.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, if I'm going to battle, I at least want like a hot wife for a minute, before I go like get a sword in the chest.
Right.
I mean,
Well,
Or in the groin.
or yeah, exactly. Or however Brienne did it. Yeah, I mean, exactly.
I
Yeah.
gotta say, like, I don't blame Robb because, I mean, it's such a desperate world that they're living in. Like, you want to grasp onto anything real that you can, and this seems to be the only real thing that's in front of him right now. So I don't blame him for doing what he's doing, but I will say, on the record, it's not a wise decision.
You know what? Some of the Walder Frey daughters are okay, according to Catelyn. That was what she said in season 1. There's some okay ones. But let's move on then to Brienne and Jaime on the run. And they come across some hanging girls, and Brienne won't stand for them not getting buried very much for having honor and dignity, really. Just do the dignity of burying them. And I thought this was a pretty badass scene. I like
Yeah.
seeing Brienne in action.
For sure.
Brienne is so big, she could literally just spin in like a 360-degree circle and just kill everyone.
She did do that.
She did. But
Two
yeah.
swords at once. One sword, one dagger, spinning in
Yeah,
circles.
Yeah.
that neck slice back.
Oh yeah, just like back there, didn't
Yeah.
even see anybody. But I loved how they
in the
said
beginning.
what?
Or I thought you were going to say how when Jaime was like saying, oh, you'd love to know what it was like to feel like a woman.
Oh
again.
yeah. I love that stuff too. But I was gonna say I loved how they said count to 3 and tell us what his real name is.
Yeah.
Like, that
Yes.
was awesome.
so smart.
I thought that was such a great. I've never for some reason thought of something like
Right,
that.
yeah.
I don't know
Cops
why.
do
It
that.
seems.
There you go, FBI learning from
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
It seems
Yeah,
like such a
for real.
smart way to
Interrogation
interrogate
yeah.
someone.
Yeah. Or maybe an interrogation tactic they used in L.A. Noire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you guys don't know, Eric is actually the hero in L.A. Noire.
No,
not
not
in
in
LA
LA Noir.
Oh.
Infamous 2.
Oh, okay.
Infamous too.
Okay.
But I do like Eleanor.
He's also in L.A. Noire as in voiceover.
So I thought, yeah, like you guys said, the murder scene, awesome. Spinning in circles and killing people. I'm all about that. And I as well liked Jaime kind of trying to like break into Brienne of like, I bet you just want a man to overpower you, don't you?
Yeah.
So-
Because you want them together.
I think they're going to end up together. And this is a
Really?
prediction. I think they're going to.
I want her with the Hound because he's kind of like huge like her. I think
Yeah.
it'd be nice coupling.
But this is speculation from me now. No spoilers. This is speculation.
But you
guys.
think Brienne and Jaime are going to end up together?
Just because they have so much in common and they're doing this adventure together, I almost
Right.
feel like something is going to happen with them.
He was
did-
kind of
did-
flirting
Yeah,
with her.
well, after he saw what she
Okay,
did, it was a great
Jaime
moment.
flirts with everybody though.
Yeah.
Jaime was flirting with Catelyn when Catelyn,
Right.
he's like,
Yeah.
I bet you just want to break off these chains on me so we can have sex, right,
Yeah,
Catelyn?
but now he's definitely impressed by everything
Oh
he
yeah,
just
no, there
saw
was a
her
moment
do.
of like,
Dang.
damn,
Yeah, exactly.
this girl's for real.
Exactly.
And how about where she put that sword? Can
Yeah.
we talk about that?
That was awesome.
Can we not talk
Did it-
about that?
Did it go where I thought it went?
Yeah.
Pretty sure
Okay.
it did.
Yeah.
Looked horrible.
It did.
Horribly painful.
I crossed my legs and put my arms down in guard as that happened.
That is awesome.
I was like, not happening over here.
and you threw the sword.
And then I
Yeah,
threw the
exactly.
sword. I just threw it at everybody in the room. Like, get away! Let's move on to Winterfell now. And Theon is surrounded, and that damn horn keeps blasting somebody. And he's having a great conversation with Maester Luwin about what should he do. And I love this moment. It wasn't. It was different in the books, and I love the way they did in the show. I thought it was way better because it really gave him emotion. It gave him humanity.
Yes.
It made him seem like he really regretted what he was doing in a sense, and kind of didn't know what he was doing. And I thought it was great. I love this scene.
Yeah, I love when the characters actually confront their actions, just like Stannis did.
Yeah, I think this was some of Alfie Allen's best work to date. Like, and I'm really not a huge Theon fan just because he just seemed like such a despicable, sort of one-dimensional character. But this really just gave us like a window inside his heart and his soul and his mind and what's been going through his head. And I interviewed Alfie Allen the other day, and I asked him, what is Theon's biggest fear? What is his greatest fear? And he said that Theon just wants to be remembered. He wants to be respected. And I think that really came across in this monologue with Maester Luwin. His worst fear is like just being not remembered.
Yeah, I mean, he's fought against it his whole life. He's never felt like he's had a place, you know? And it was like he finally went home. And, you know, he made that decision because he was like, wow, okay, I've got a place here, you know, but really he didn't. His sister trumped that and his dad did, you know. But he finally, for the first time, I think, felt like he garnered some sort of respect.
Yeah.
And he had clocks in the back of the head.
Well, it seemed like he woke up because Luwin was telling him, you know, I really think you should run away in the middle of the night. And he's like, no. And he gave that amazing speech.
Right.
I thought that was
really
hilarious.
enjoyed that
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like one of the sad things about the character, but also really respectable. Like that moment when he says, like, run away, it's like that's what he's done. You know, he's always taken, like, he's stayed with the Starks, and then he betrayed them and went to his family, and then he ran, you know, he's always kind of taken that route. And so this was going to be his way of like, look, I might go down, we will go down, but I'm at least going to go down fighting so that I can, you know, do it the right way for one time in my life and do it respectable.
I totally agree.
know?
I felt like he finally found himself in that moment. Only to be taken down,
Which is
and
which is
betrayed
just
by
so-
his men.
See, I feel like this is worth mentioning because it's so different from the book. In the book, he does it totally the opposite way, where he goes out, and at this point, Sir Roderick's still alive in the books, and he threatens Sir Roderick, like, hey, if you attack my castle, look up at the battlements, look up at the wall, and he has Sir Roderick's daughter strung up by a noose, and is like, if you attack me, I'm going to hang your daughter, just so you know. So he's really despicable in the books and what he tries to do. And that's why I'm saying I like what he did here. I like that he tries to. I agree with what you said. I think he almost tried to do the honorable thing. The wall, in a sense, is an honorable way, but I like that. And I also love the speech for the sense of that turnaround where it had the inspiring music. Like, look, this is inspiring. I'm getting my people going, and they're chanting, and all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
was
it.
it all a joke? They were just pretending to go along with him?
That's what it looked
Yeah,
like.
I mean that's what makes it so sad, you know. I mean he's actually at the heart of it, very sympathetic character when you break down
totally
like
agree.
Absolutely.
who this guy is. You know, he's tough to watch because you're like, oh God, he just you know, and the actor does a really good job of justifying his moves, you know, and why he's doing the things that he's doing, which is really important.
Yeah, I think Alfie Allen's been doing a terrific acting job. in playing Theon.
Absolutely. And I think this is like the pinnacle of it. And if we assume that he's dead, it's just like so sad that like even to his death, he was never respected by his
do you
own
think
people.
we should assume he's dead?
I'm just saying if we assume that.
Yeah. The only reason I say that is because when they did, they put a hood on him, so I figured they were just going to drag him with them to their...
I mean, are they taking him, do you guys think?
Yeah.
Because Winterfell fell. It's burned to the
I
ground,
figure they're
so
going
he's clearly
home and,
not
like,
there.
you know, come next season, they're going to pull the hood and he's going to be like, what the hell?
There's a line that Theon had in this episode where he says, like, well, I've gone too far to be anything else, or I've gone too far to turn back. And, like, I don't know why. I don't know if there's any Breaking Bad fans out there, but that really evoked some Walter White for me because, like, Walter White has just gotten to this point where he can't even turn back if he wants to. He's gotten so far. So I almost saw that a little bit in Theon. I don't know
like
why
that.
I made that
That's a great point.
comparison.
Let's move on then to the other part of Winterfell, which is Hodor, Osha, Bran, and Rickon all emerging and seeing it on fire, and that it has been burnt down to the ground and sacked completely. So this was again a little different with Osha appearing, where Bran was the strong one who wanted to go in the book, which is it's a minor difference. It doesn't matter that much. But they then find Luwin dying. What did you guys think?
That didn't happen in the book. They didn't.
No, they did find him dying. I just mean Bran was the one who wanted them to go up, whereas that's the only difference. Whereas in this one, he's like, "Why are we going up?"
Yeah, he kind of wants to stay and either help Luwin or go down to the south. Yeah, I mean, I'm just so excited to see the journey of those four. I think it's going to be so fun to watch them. Like, because we see a lot of stuff that goes on in the South, but we don't really see what goes on between Winterfell and the Wall. So it'll be fun to sort of explore that territory with those four.
Yeah.
I'm really excited that they're going to Jon for protection because I've been wanting him to come back to his family, and now his family has finally come to him.
Right now he's kind of
want more Jon. I don't blame you.
Right now he's kind of going.
Hopefully he heard my marriage proposal.
He's been going the wrong way though. He's kind of been heading north away from them.
Yeah,
For the
that's
moment,
true.
he's way out beyond the Wall now. So hopefully they will find them.
Everyone's going in the right direction.
It's gonna be a long trek.
Yes, that it
Long,
definitely will
cold
be.
trek.
Yeah, winter's coming.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, can we also mention real quick Hodor?
Yeah.
The soft whisper of Hodor.
It was so just sad and sympathetic, like Hodor. Like it was, yeah. It was a
I
great
didn't
little
know
whisper.
he was capable of that.
I know, me neither. Such depth of emotion. I didn't expect that from him.
A realization.
Thanks, guys.
So, quick
I like
question.
that.
Why didn't Maester Luwin want milk of the poppy? Why did he just want the knife?
I think he's just, at least in the books, he came off as like, look, I've been meaning to die. It's my time. I don't need milk of the poppy. I'm old. It's my time to die. I don't need something to make it lessen the fact that I'm dying.
I know what my end is.
Yeah.
This is it.
And maybe also as a maester, he's given so many people the milk of the poppy. Maybe it just sort of
He knows
a
what it
weak
really
way
is.
out.
right.
Ooh.
He's seen it do
Nice.
things that he doesn't want to be a part of. So
Right.
All right, let's move on then to one of my favorite storylines, Arya.
Yeah.
Because a man enjoys watching Jaqen Hagar.
So at our recap episode at the MTV Suites, I talked about this. We did a recap episode. It's available on iTunes for you guys who haven't seen it. Just recapping
Whole season 9
Season two.
or season 2, not episode 9. Season 2
Right.
recap.
And I was talking about how I was really hoping that Jaqen was going to follow them
Me
and
too.
continue on the journey. But I'm not quite sure why he wants her to come with him to Bravos.
God, why wouldn't she go? I was like, this would be a badass storyline. She goes in trains, Count of Monte Cristo style, and then she comes back. And that storyline is her just picking people off.
I want to see her become a faceless woman.
Faceless
That
would
would
be so dope.
awesome. That would, I mean,
And she'd never be able to really tell her brothers, or family that it's her, but she'd be right next to them, picking people off and protecting them from afar.
Like
but
a
really
guardian
close.
angel
Oh,
of
it'd be
sorts.
such a good storyline.
I mean, I definitely prefer the first face, but I'll
Yeah,
take
you were
him no
bummed.
matter what.
You were bummed when he switched faces.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm
What's
gonna
next,
miss that
by the
face.
way? 'Cause he's gonna keep switching.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he'll get another face eventually that you really
What?
like.
Yeah,
That
maybe
would
it'll
a
be even
very
hotter.
fun
Like this face
husband.
right here.
Yeah.
That would be an
Exactly
awesome
like
Right? Or
husband.
that.
saw a face from this side of the table.
Exactly like
If you were
that.
to marry a man like that, it would always be exciting.
Or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then he switches to the
What if he
ugly face,
switched
and
to
you're
the,
like,
the other one?
I just want some craziness in my life, I guess.
Let's see if we've come up with any.
oh, there was one taker that I mentioned before.
We asked for a picture and nothing came.
Oh, that's sad. I guess.
Hiding behind the
Yeah, they had the
anonymity
anonymous
of the
mask
web.
on.
That's fine.
Oh wow. They're like Jaqen then. They're
Yeah,
faceless.
like
they're
that.
faceless.
Just like
men.
Jaqen.
I'm fine with that.
Kristen's faceless suitors.
Yeah,
That's right.
scars, please. Scars,
But you
welcome.
think that Bravos is the exact place for Arya because that's also where Sirio's from.
Yes.
So it seems like Arya's calling is Bravos in a sense.
And I'm really hoping that Sirio is still alive. The actor actually said that he would love to do a show with us come November, so you guys should look forward to that. And
Yeah.
hopefully we'll have a bonus episode for
Yeah,
you
like a
guys.
mid off season.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's
It'd be
talk
awesome.
about Jaqen giving Arya his coin and saying Valar Morghulis.
Yeah, so you
Yes.
know he's coming back.
Yeah, he's definitely
I mean,
coming
you
back.
don't get that coin and not cash that in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Coming back.
Valar
Valar
Morghulis,
Morghulis.
which was
Valar
also
Morghulis.
trending on Twitter if you want to join in on that trend.
yeah.
Just so you guys know. Hashtag Valar
Morghulis.
Morghulis.
Yeah.
if you can figure out how to spell it. I don't actually.
Yeah.
It was the
Good luck
title
with
of
that.
the episode, so
Oh,
you
yeah,
probably
that's true.
find that.
But why does he want Arya to go there?
I think he wants to train her, doesn't? I mean, you don't think that?
I
You
think-
there's
I
more
mean,
than
that
that?
would be fun, but I'm just like, why does this man
A man has
concerned?
respect for Arya.
I think he likes her. I think he's got a crush on her.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like, but big man, little girl.
Maybe his next face is going to be like Justin Bieber. And it's going to be 18, and then
And
they
they'll be well matched.
Yeah, they'll be well matched.
Nicely done, sir.
Nice.
I got the full laugh.
Yeah.
That was good.
That's awesome.
Nice.
A man would enjoy company from Arya. I just like saying a man. A man would like to talk about the wall. Let's move on then to Rattleshirt, Qhorin Halfhand, and Ygritte all hanging out with Jon Snow and walking there. And Qhorin Halfhand having that huge fight with Jon Snow. I know Simone and I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we can go ahead and talk about this because
I think it's safe
It's
at
not
this
going to be
point.
explained.
The fight.
Yeah, it's like so. In the book, there was a lot more to this fight. So basically, in the book, Qhorin Halfhand tells Jon Snow, he pulls him aside and says, "I'm gonna need you to kill me, and I need you to be like an embedded sort of source with the wildlings. I need you to meet the king beyond the wall, which is Mance Rayder. I need you to find out his plans and to go back to the wall and report on these findings so that we can actually have a chance defeating this army." And we didn't really get that from the episode.
So that was that little conversation they had before he pushed him
Yeah.
down the hill last episode.
That's
Right.
what I said. Whenever we
Yeah.
brought it up, I was like, actually, I feel like he's faking it because it was a nice exchange, and then suddenly he was just like, "Rah!"
Well, yeah. It looked like that. I thought when they started fighting today that it was going to be a fake fight.
Okay.
I figured it was staged because of the conversation, but then when he killed him,
You're just
I
like,
wasn't quite
whoa!
sure. I was like, wow. I mean, I honestly thought at one point they were going to like slice each other's things and try to take the. I mean, I didn't know how it was
I
going to
guess
work.
that's good because Simone
Yeah.
and I thought maybe it's a little too subtly
it was a
done.
little subtle. So.
Because it's very written out in the books of like John's really worried about it because he's like, what?
Yeah.
I just want to be faithful to the wall. I do not want to betray them. I'd rather die. And Qhorin is totally cool. And Qhorin's also totally cool with the fact that Jon didn't kill Ygritte, which here in the show he wasn't cool with it. But he's like, look, this is the part you need to play. If it comes to it, you need to do what you need to do.
Yeah, and there's a great line that's escaping me right now, but basically Qhorin tells him, like, whatever you have to do to make them believe that you're one of them, do it. And that's something that really comes in later on. So we sort of understand where Jon Snow's head is at. But yeah, I'm glad that you were able to pick up on that because I thought that it was a little vague as far as like Qhorin wanting him to kill him.
Well, they definitely had that moment, and then he pushed him down. And then Ingrid actually, there was a brief moment where Ingrid looked and she clocked that they had some sort of exchange there, but didn't say anything because you know she has a thing for him,
Right.
But
Look at the way Simone's smiling as he says that.
Rob, how many others? Rob,
I just love
Oh,
Kit.
just him. Okay. But we definitely didn't get that much out of it.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I think in the show, Qhorin puts a lot more trust in Jon Snow because you could see even in the fight, Jon had these faces of like confusion, like, what am I doing right now? Like, I don't want to kill you. Like, why are you fighting me? And then in the end, Qhorin tells Jon, like, you know, we are the Watchers of the Wall. And I think that is like the last little nugget that he wants to leave Jon with. Like, you're doing this. You're still
Yeah.
a man of the Night's Watch. Like, you have to do this for us.
Right. But
An
again, I'm
honorable
glad that
death.
you guys were able to pick up on that because
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because I don't know if I would have picked up on it without having read the book.
Right.
So-
I was a little still confused, so I'm glad that you guys clarified that for me.
But let's move on to an exciting scene with Sam. Sam hanging out, talking about Gilly and how Gilly still has hope. So, guys, we can still have hope. And Gren kind of tells him, like, well, you had 6 words with Gilly, buddy. You can't really...
Probably 6 more words than any other female has ever spoken to him. So hold on to those,
Yeah,
Sam.
hold on to those, Sam. But
I love-
zombie White Walkers, yes!
Yeah.
And horse White Walkers.
Yeah, horse
I
White
love
Walkers.
That was
those.
great.
They look a bit like iced predators, right?
Yeah.
That's what Kit said.
They kind of remind me
Yeah.
of the ringwraith horses in Lord of the Rings that have like the glowing eyes, like evil horses.
Yeah, it did a little bit. I like that the one rider who just gives Sam that
Yeah.
look. Man, that was a menacing
Yeah.
White Walker.
Seriously.
Okay, was that Uncle Benjen? Like, Hey.
I don't know, but why? I think Kristen, I think you mentioned it when we were watching it, but why didn't he grab the whatever weapons they found last
Those
week?
dragon stone
Like the
weapons.
dragon
The
teeth
dragon
or dragon
gla-
stone,
yeah,
glass,
the-
dragon
yeah.
glass. They were supposed to kill. Why didn't he? Didn't he have those on him?
They were like on the ground beside
They
him,
were
and then he
right
ran
there.
away. And I felt like that was
Yeah.
what was going to save him from them if
Right.
they did attack him.
I thought that was what he was going to go for too, and then he didn't. He just ran and
Behind a stone.
just
behind
got a
the
little
stone
nervous.
and probably peed his
Yeah.
pants.
Because
back
they
there.
wanted to give that one shot. That's why you needed that shot rising above the rock,
Yeah,
Yeah,
rock
that's true.
Yeah.
to see all the White Walkers coming.
So is
That's-
Sam going to be okay?
It is too bad though not seeing Sam be a little badass because you definitely
know.
want that out of him.
I think we'll probably see it. I feel like that's where they're
He can't
going.
be okay.
He's not going to be okay.
I mean, come on. I mean, if we've heard this much about White Walkers and 5,000 of them let him go,
It's-
I mean, then
they
all of a
saw
sudden I'm
him.
not that
the
scared.
one
of
on
them
the
anymore.
horse looked right at him and
Looked
went,
right
Yeah.
at him.
I think he's going to be fine.
and then but then it
All
kept.
right,
But
you
well,
love Sam.
well, here's the she loves everybody.
You love Sam.
Here's the thing
You
that
want to have Sam's babies.
No. My name is Gilly.
There you go.
Here's the thing though. The thing that is they kept on walking for some reason. I didn't know exactly why they didn't decide to just kill him and move on,
That's
but they're
because I
just
thought
like
it was Uncle Benjen.
kept going.
Do you guys think that was him? Because it resembled him. Like, he had the long hair and stuff, and I'm not sure why they would make a White Walker look exactly like Uncle Benjen,
But
still on his horse, if it wasn't supposed to be
You know
him.
what though? I feel like usually White Walkers look more like their original person, and Uncle Benjen had black hair like a Stark. Usually has darker hair, and I mean I'm not sure, but I feel like he would look more like Uncle Benjen did.
But
The
why
ones
would
you
they?
know.
Yeah,
The
the
White
ones
Walkers, you know.
All the White Walkers I know.
Right.
I mean,
That you
we
socialize
might
with.
hang out beyond the wall every now and then.
Right. I got you.
Sometimes it's cool.
I don't
Sure.
know. I just don't see the point in the writers making someone look very like Uncle Benjen if it wasn't supposed to be him. So I'm going to say that it
You
is.
might be right. We'll
All right-
see.
all right,
I
guys.
have no clue.
So before we move on, we're going to talk a little bit with Eric, our special guest, talk about some season 3 news and some special reports for you guys. But before we do that, I do want to mention that you guys should check out GameFly. I think you guys should check it out for maybe the new Game of Thrones game that just came out, maybe for Infamous 2, possibly. Go to gamefly.com/AfterBuzzTV, and you will get a special 15-day free trial. And for those of you who don't know, GameFly is like the Netflix of video games. You can order all the games you want, not have to pay $60 for one game. It's a great discount. I think you guys should try it, and definitely try Infamous 2, Left 4 Dead, maybe.
Yeah.
Why not LA Noire?
LA
Those are
Noire.
some games maybe you should
And
guys should
GameFly
try.
is dope too because people like me, like it takes forever to finish a game. There's no due date. You
Yeah.
turn
Yeah.
it back whenever.
Totally.
It's good.
So yeah, check it out, guys. AfterBuzz TV right after GameFly.com, and we will cut to commercial.
Hey guys, so what do you get when three
Because that
real
was-
single ladies are super fans of VH1 single ladies? Well, you get the after show on AfterBuzz TV. I'm Lauren Turner. I'm Spicy Mighty, bringing that fire. And I'm Fallon Mercedes. And we're single ladies, so make sure you watch us on AfterBuzz TV. We're all the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single
Hey guys, it's JC, host of The Bachelorette here on AfterBuzz TV.
Hey, I'm Crystal. I've been on Bachelor and Bachelor Pad for the inside scoop. You want to check us out?
And if you're looking for an opinion, I've got one. I'm Canton Bliss.
And I'm your relationship expert, Jenna Couture. I'm Kathy Kelly, and I bring you all your Bachelor and Bachelorette news.
All this at 10 p.m. Pacific on AfterBuzz TV.
Hey guys, this is the AfterBuzz TV crew for The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Woo! Don't forget to tune in every Monday night at 8 p.m. to see
Adrienne Barrow,
Deanna Vaughn,
Susan Hahn,
Giselle Ugardi. Buzz you later!
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
All right, guys. So before we go and talk about season 3, let's talk about our special guest, Eric Ladin. So, Eric, you are here, and I believe The Killing. There's a big episode coming up for you guys. You want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, there's a big episode
A
every
big
Sunday
episode.
night. If you're not watching Game of Thrones, and if you're watching this show, you're probably not a Game of Thrones fan, so you're probably usually watching The Killing. The Killing also airs on Sunday nights, and yeah, we've got the season finale, 2 seasons in the making. We will find out who killed Rosie Larson. in 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I believe season 1, people, that's all they wanted was to find out. So here you finally get to.
We've dragged it out.
Is it possible we have a killer at hand?
Sure. It is possible. Me being part of the cast, it is absolutely possible.
This is like the game of Clue.
It is. It's just like the game of Clue. Of course, I can't say anything. Much like all good shows on television, I'm sworn to secrecy, or they'll take my firstborn baby with lots of hair, like Khal Drogo's.
If you're lucky.
If I'm lucky.
Are you excited to see people's reactions for when they find out who did it?
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm excited because people yell at me on the streets, and so I'm excited not to have that anymore. Like,
please stop yelling.
Yeah, I love people to tell me that they love the show and all that, but not why don't we know who killed Rosie Larson? Because I didn't write the show. I'm just in the show. But honestly, I think that the season ended the way it should. I think it's most people who are avid TV fans, watchers, aficionados understood why we did it, and they did it the way they did. So.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your voice acting career, because I am an avid gamer. So seeing that you were part of Infamous 2, and Simone is as well. Infamous 2, probably one of the biggest PS3 games. Yeah. That's awesome that you're part of that. What has it been like doing voiceover for games as opposed to your typical acting career?
It's been incredible. Infamous 2 was my first game in which I did motion capture. Well, that's a lie. I did some motion capture on LA Noire, but Infamous 2 was a 1.5-year process in which I did voice and motion capture, and really kind of tackled it just as I would TV and film, because I was taking on a character's not only voice like you would in voice acting, but also walking and talking and doing all the action. It was a really, really stunt-oriented job. A lot of jumping, climbing.
And they actually had you enact those for Infamous 2?
Yeah, it sure was awesome. I was in a harness flying around a soundstage.
Wow.
That's cool. Yeah. I knew that they did a lot of that, but I didn't realize they had the actors do that, the voice actors for a lot of those projects. That's cool to hear.
Yeah.
And I think we should point this out because you had to correct me that they do use Cole McGrath in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, but you're not the voice for that.
I am not. They have publicized me as the voice of that, but they found someone else because of contractual reasons.
Yeah,
I shouldn't elaborate on.
I could understand that. But you've been a part of a lot of big projects: Mad Men, Big Love. Mm-hmm. What are you looking to do now that The Killing has its finale coming up? Do you have any projects in the works?
I do. I have some things lined up. I'm looking at a couple different movie projects over the summer. That hopefully would take me through the next few months. And, I'd love to... I happen to think TV's just at a really, great golden age. I think
I totally agree. I feel like TV is conquering the film world at this
we
point
definitely
in
see
time.
film actors moving to TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say that, there's things about film that I love and that I wanna do, and people I want to work with and filmmakers I want to work with, and there's things about film that are fantastic. But I think there's a lot of great TV out there, and so luckily I've afforded myself the I can be picky, and so I'm reading scripts and just trying to find that next great role that I want to.
Can you tell me about Highland Park real quick, because the town right next to where I grew up is called Highland Park, so that caught my attention.
But that's
and my
in
rival
Chicago,
high
right?
school, and my rival high school was Highland Park High School.
Yeah, well. There is a Highland Park in every town.
Okay, but not right next to where you grew up. Not your rival high school.
That's true. Well, unless you grew up next to Highland Park.
Whatever, Eric. I used to like you as a guest. Now it's dwindling.
Now you're done. No, this was Highland Park, right outside of Detroit. There's a little area that is really, really was just decimated by the economic downfall, and really one of the poorest cities in the country, and it's a little story about basically a group of six people.
We can say that about my Highland Park, by the way, because I hate them. They're the poor. They're
really?
Yeah,
all
totally.
right, cool.
They're
yeah.
totally like that.
So just insert us into your Highland Park. And yeah, it's a little story about 6 people that work at a school who all get together and play the lottery together. And we eventually win the lottery, and it's the story of how we kind of manage with our winnings.
This sounds a lot like HBO's Luck.
Yeah, but we didn't kill horses.
Oh.
Yeah. Was it what? We didn't. We really didn't.
So I do want to mention Watchtower Base watches our show all the time, and to shout him out, but also the fact that he says he loves Infamous too. So I'm sure.
Oh, great, Watchtower!
He's excited.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Can you tell me what is the vibe like on set at an AMC show? Because that is one of the most creative, innovative networks out today, and a network that was really able to rebrand itself. And I just love all the programming that comes out of AMC.
You know, it's interesting. I was on Mad Men for a little bit during season 2 and season 3, and you know, they obviously were the tentpole for that network, and they really just they started the brand that now is, you know, AMC. And so now being on The Killing, when I got that job, it already kind of held the clout of AMC. When I was on Mad Men, it was just kind of earning that clout. So it's exciting. It's exciting when you get on a show that, you know, already kind of carries that brand, because critics, but at the same time you get that critic, eye that's going to be on that show, and they, you know, you have to be good. It's got to be good, because critics are expecting that. The bar is raised so high that if it's not fantastic, you know, it's you're going to hear about it.
Right. Well, I think the season premiere was
the
much
atmosphere
lauded.
is really great. You know what I mean? I mean, people, you know, we've got really good actors and an incredible crew, and we get great directors. So it's a joy to work on.
Making magic over there.
It's a joy
Love
to work on.
AMC.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
they're not beholden to audiences, so
yeah,
you know, they're
right.
able to really tell great stories and pick really great projects that they want to tell. As opposed to stories that they think, you know, 18 million viewers a week are going to tune into.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's important.
All right, well, let's move on then to our season 3 news, so we can
Okay.
talk about season
Yep.
3 of Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Simone, I believe
Yes.
you have a bunch for us, correct?
Well, I don't have any solid details.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Now I do, because of that sound
You
effect.
better.
I know. Okay, so there's no actual names that have been thrown out as far as like who's been cast in
Eric
season
Ladin.
3. Yeah.
Can't say
Besides
that.
breaking
Heard
news.
it first.
No, but we do know that some roles are in fact going to be cast, and these are roles that fans of the books were really, you know, nervous to see. We all want these roles in the show next season. So Queen of Thorns will be cast. Edmure Tully will be cast. Mira and Jojen Reed will be cast.
I was excited to see that because we were confused about them not being included. So
Yes.
they're included now. It's great. It's good to know.
Yeah, so it's going to be really exciting. And the Blackfish is also cast. So I don't know if we have time to go over who all those people are, but you can definitely look
Well, I
them
mean,
up on
we probably don't want to spoil all that too
Right.
for people who haven't seen it.
Right.
But let's also talk about, I believe season 3 is going to be half of book 3. I think it was announced that book 3 has 2 seasons, seasons 3 and 4. Do you guys like that, or do you guys feel like that's kind of a bad
I'm not
thing?
happy about that.
Really?
I mean, I really love Game of Thrones, and I want it to just go on until past when I'm dead and old. However,
It's a long time.
That is
How-
a long
I hope.
time.
I hope.
I can only hope that George R.R. Martin can continue writing from the grave. But however, I don't want this series to reflect a book at all. I want it to be a standalone piece, and this season I kind of felt at some points definitely reflected the book more than I'd like. And I feel like they're going to slow down the pacing a lot with dividing the third book into 2 seasons. And hopefully we can carry on the action and not... I love character development, but I felt like we didn't go as fast as I would have liked to through some of the storylines this season.
Unless they can spend more time. I mean, I think there's a way that they could do it where they could actually spend more time on the things that matter most, and maybe it'll behoove them to do that.
Hopefully. We
Well,
can hope.
Book 3 is like a behemoth. It's like huge and it's action packed, and there's so much that goes on in it. So I understand your apprehension, but I think it could be a good move just because there's so much that has to happen that it might be smart to protract it out over 2 seasons.
I think it just really depends on the way they do it. And
Right.
this is a lot with Book 2, where Book 2 just happened to have a lot of exposition in it. And so they had to reflect that in the show. But if Season 3 doesn't, maybe that'll work. But what was hard with Season 2 at some points was there was so much exposition, it
Right.
kind of made the season drag a bit. And I think Kristen is worried that maybe that'll
Yeah.
happen with Seasons 3 and 4, since they're combining one book, or they're making one book 2 seasons. So I guess if they do it well, hopefully it won't matter. We'll get even more Game of Thrones awesomeness.
I will say there's not as much exposition in like character development and dialogue as there was in book 2, so that's good. There's definitely a lot more
Good. Let's
action
get to
in
the
season
action.
3.
I'm
Yeah.
ready. Let's kill some people off. Speaking of killing some people off, should we mention our commenters?
Yeah, let's
Oh
listen.
my god!
I only say
I don't
that
know why
because
we're killing them off
Okay,
now.
I'm only saying that because we always mention the names who leave us wonderful reviews and not so wonderful reviews.
Oh, so
I
we should
mention everybody.
we should
I
also
thank you.
mention that we were having some YouTube difficulties. Therefore, episode 9 and our season 2 recap have not been uploaded to YouTube yet. They should be up sometime soon, guys. For those who only watch on YouTube, sorry you're getting this now. That's what happened.
But
That's
you can
why.
download our shows on iTunes, of course.
Yeah, so you can download on iTunes as well.
Okay, a few listeners and watchers from YouTube: Kim Lim, the Andrew Fig, Cal Foster, Mr. Drolic 777, Re6612, 304 Titties, yep, Unnack78, Re612, and Patoma Hot Fuzz 0071.
Did you say 304 what?
Titties.
I
really want me to say that again?
No,
Come
it
on,
was just funny because
Ronnie.
I thought I saw them follow
No,
our
this-
Wait, you
YouTube
just got a
page.
proposal now.
Oh, can I also point out, Kristen, that a man has a face. The guy did send his face picture.
Oh yes.
But,
Can
I'll
you
try
tweet
and pull
that
that
to
up.
me? I'm at Cinematic.
A man has a
Oh,
face.
Yes, I like this. This
I
is
wanna see this
fantastic.
We
man.
my
have
gosh.
this. We will show you after.
Yes, we will.
Because I'm gonna.
This is great. Thank you for sending the face.
Thank you.
I'm excited about it.
He's
All
a Blue
right.
Jays fan, so there's that.
I'm ready. I can do Blue Jays.
You can do
I-
what? This is going on. Sorry.
This just keeps going
Thank
on.
you. Thank you. I got 2 laugh tracks tonight.
iTunes listeners, hopefully your names are just as competitive. Giorgio Patron, Bumpy Sun, Kingslayer 55, Dyson Rios, Guatarez, Grand Weepers, BGS Fan 2029. And did you want to talk about any of the questions really quick?
Sure. Bumpy-san pointed out that Sansa's hairstyles keep changing. I don't know if any of you guys noticed that. I actually didn't notice that, so I think that's kind of cool that he pointed it out. He was wondering about the Hound and if he's trying to change or if he has inner turmoil from his livelihood or childhood. I think a lot of his inner turmoil has to do with the mountain burning his
Yes.
face off.
I agree.
Which we
Which
didn't
is
get to
why
mention
he's
in
afraid of
episode
fire.
9. We did mention in the recap, but that's why he was afraid of the fire, is because the mountain shoved his face into a fire when he was a kid and why he was so freaked out during the Battle of the Blackwater.
I think it's recalling those horrific emotions that he had as a kid being burned.
You carry that stuff with you. Treat your kids kindly, parents.
We do have a question from Jay Holly on the email, which is, where did Magister Moptis get the dragon eggs from?
That's a very good question.
IKEA.
That's where you can buy everything.
Or
But you have to put them
Amazon.com.
together.
Amazon.com.
Exactly.
Amazon.
Self-assembly required.
I think Simone is correct. He probably got it through going to AfterBuzzTV.com and the Amazon link on the top right.
Yeah.
That's definitely where he got it.
Dragons
I
for
think so.
And we also got another email, which was from Duran Sinclair, which we should also point out. And I guess, do you really want me to do that?
I do really want you to do this. This is the finale of our after show. You need to sing this song.
We asked users to submit songs for us, and with the YouTube being down, we still have one from a couple weeks ago. We already did one of his a couple weeks ago. Here's another one from Kyle Foster. It's titled "You Win or You Die." I haven't practiced this,
That's okay.
so this will be straight up. I guess I'll just rap it then. You win or you die. Tyrion is sly. Joffrey makes Sansa cry. You see dragons in the sky while Littlefinger lies. The White Walkers are revived and walk again while Theon goes crazy and chops off Sir Roderick's head. Drogon is the second coming of Balerion the Dread. Rhaenyra's afraid. Hell no, he based Talisa instead. This is why I can't get the Game of Thrones out of my head. I'm from Detroit, Eminem. Speaking of Detroit and Eminem.
Straight out of Chicago.
Finale
Chicago Highland Park, not Detroit.
That was
All right.
too much fun.
Now that is over, let's talk about season 3 and what you guys are looking forward to for season 3 and predictions, as long as they're not real predictions in a way.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
You first.
Wow,
Kristen.
me first, because I have not read the 3rd book, so these are pure and... Okay. Jon Snow is going to just become king north of the Wall and move his troops. He's going to take on all the wildlings that are out there, and I feel like he's just going to rise to the top, because that's why he went to the Wall, so he could rise, and I think that's his goal, and that's going to happen. And Daenerys hopefully is getting ships with all that fake gold.
All right.
Interesting.
I guess I'll go next, since I read the 2nd book. I have not read the 3rd, so this is purely speculation now. So everything I've been talking about before, and I had read the 2nd book, but this is now speculation. Will be fun. All right, so the Lannisters, I'll start with them. I think that Tyrion is sly enough. He'll figure out a way to somehow worm his way back on top, despite the fact that he's not Hand of the King. I think that Stannis is going to stay in the game and will keep on causing trouble. And I think he'll start winning some battles and causing some mayhem. I think
with smoke babies.
With smoke, more shadow babies, some more shadow babies.
We need that.
I think that Daenerys will. She's going to start moving west, but she won't get there in the next season. That would be my.
Maybe there will be pirates.
Yes, hopefully some pirates. Kristen loves pirates. I think that the Starks. I think they're going to head towards the Wall and run into some trouble, and Osha's going to have confliction with wildlings. I think Brienne and Jaime are going to fall for each other. Oh. I'm saying it right now. I think they're going to. I think Theon. I'm not sure about it. I don't know what happened in the books, so I don't want to say anything.
I like what Eric said.
Yeah, he's going to wake up.
I think Arya is going to become even more badass, because she always does.
Hopefully faceless.
And hopefully she'll use the coin. I really want to see that coin.
Yes.
I want to see that.
And what will she say?
She will
Valar
say...
Morghulis.
Yes.
And then from the Wall, I think Jon Snow is going to continue fighting for the wildlings and have some horrible conflictions, as he might run into Gren and possibly Sam from the wrong side.
That's going to be a tricky
I think
situation.
that's kind of what's going to happen. Do you have any thoughts?
I think Brienne is going to take the throne.
She could.
Will she become a king or a queen if she takes the throne?
I think she will be. I think her and Jaime will get together.
Oh, okay.
Jaime will slay the king. Slay Joffrey.
Another Kingslayer.
Yeah.
Kingslayer Part 2.
That's right. And then I think Brienne will become queen.
All right.
It's crazy that his prediction sounds the most legit. Not that your guys' doesn't, because of this voiceover thing. I'm like, it's actually gonna happen. Like, I feel like you gotta do the AfterBuzz
next fall on HBO.
It sounds so official that way.
It does.
You were born with that, or did you train that voice?
Yeah, I bought it.
On Amazon.
That's right. On
Amazon.com/AfterBuzzTV.
The Woody Man thinks that Sansa's going to marry Littlefinger until Arya kills someone, and Arya's going to kill someone on her list.
That's actually a good. I think
I like
Sansa
that.
might go with Littlefinger.
That could happen.
I could see Littlefinger wanting Sansa just for the connection to Catelyn.
Yeah.
Right.
In a really creepy way of,
Or
well, I
call
can't
her
have you,
Catelyn.
so I'll get your daughter then.
Yeah, she'll always call her Catelyn.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Messed up.
Oh, Littlefinger. Littlefinger finds all the ways to use the right holes.
I'm gonna say Khal Drogo. Khal Drogo's coming back in season 3.
She just wants more Jason Momoa. You just want more of every dude. Let's kill off all the girls.
Let's be honest.
Okay.
All right.
Boy crazy.
So, guys, you can find me on Twitter at the Dave
Got your
Klein.
guy.
That's KLEIN, or at djk-online.com.
Eric, where can we find you?
We can find Eric on Twitter at Eric Ladin. Find me.
I'm Simone Boyce. You can find me on Twitter at Simone Boyce, and also on YouTube.com/SimoneDBoyce.
I'm Kristen Elizabeth Snyder, and you can find me at Cinematic Escape on Twitter, or you can Google or Bing Cinematic Escape and find my blog, where I will be posting all of my special reports this season.
And if you didn't get enough Eric Ladin, why don't you just play as him already? Play with him on Infamous, too. Why don't you just play as him? You can control him, make him move around.
Play me.
really
Play
fun.
with me.
Okay.
All right, and Ronnie Jr., would you like to
Yeah, Ronnie Jr. Media on Twitter. And again, you guys, the best Game of Thrones after show out there. You guys do it for the official diehard Game of Thrones fans and the people like myself or maybe Christina who don't know Game of Thrones that well, but we still like hearing about the Lannisters and all that stuff. So thank you guys for a great season.
And guys, go ahead and give the season 2 recap a listen. Chris and I recapped the whole season leading up to episode 10. So if you miss it, you want to hear what happened, just give that a listen. So we went through the whole season. Lots of fun stuff.
And thank you again, Eric. It's
Absolutely.
been great having you on this show.
Hey,
Yes.
thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining.
It's been my pleasure. Winter is coming.
All right, guys, we will see you next season. I cannot wait to see more Arya and the King of the North.
And winter.
King of the North. King of the North.
Winter is coming.
King of the North.
That's right.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.